Hey, hello, welcome to Shop Adventures 11. Boy, we had a little bit of a topsy-turvy last week. I'm Lance, that's Patrick back behind the camera, and we're going to get back on that little micro drill press, the little green one. We discussed getting all the parts in. We had a delay, had to machine a piece of 303 stainless as you saw in the last video, so that's fine. We're back on track, we're excited. All those parts are here. I'm going to show you how they're all laid out. They look really good on that maple board. It's going to get a little crowded on there, but it looks really neat, especially with that Bodine motor. I am in love with the Bodine motor. I think I'll contact that company, by the way. Let's give that a shot. Just see if we can get a little more historic details about that new old stock machine. Okay, I'm going to do something else. We're going to go ahead and move forward into our. I'm going to show you a new area around here. We have our little workshop. We have our machine shop. And now we're going to take it, everything has a little name, so we're going to take you to another room. This one's called the electronic shop. But when we enter that electronic shop, first thing I'm going to start out with is a whole bunch of cabinets, little cabinets and drawers. And that is our vast collection of bunch of very vintage watch parts. As you know, we are watchmakers and we are electronics people, and we're programmers and a lot of things. We do a lot of stuff over our times, over our decades. So we've kept a lot of rare watch inventory. And we'll start off with that, and then I'm going to scroll around and show you all the different electronics, the components and stuff like that. And we're going to make our way over to Patrick, and that's what we're going to show today. A special little picture of him and his workbench. He's going to be showing you all of the electronic work he has to do on the controller boards that go into the enclosure and everything that he has to get back to me in order to finish off the micro drill press. So that's where we're heading on this video. And we hope you'll join us. So thank you. Hi, welcome. Okay, we're getting a little more excited around here. And that's going to come down to this. We've been doing prepping. We've been doing painting. We've been doing polishing and buffing and this and that. And pieing little parts and pieces. Well, it's getting around about assembly time around here. And that's kind of where we like to shine a little more. Today, what we're going to share with you is we got that table base over here to start mounting the micro drill press to. You'll notice these are that German machine green right here. There's two of them. These are just the bases, the idler pulley and the main spindle here. The rest of those fragile parts, or what I like to call them fragile because of their paintwork, and I don't want to paint them again, they're out in the workshop waiting for us to bring this to them. But for now, let me go over all the components that it took to get this base plate where we are. But first I want to share the mounting of the feet. Patrick, coming around now, we're going to share we went ahead and we laid it out as far as we get the correct. We do this to every table, exact distances from the corners. It's really good. That's the little feet. They're all done. She's solid. So we got a good foundation. We got a good base. We're going to go ahead and build up off of that and complete this drill press. And we're really excited. Let's go over some of these parts. This is the enclosure that we still need to finish drilling and getting it all prepped for. This enclosure has the speed controller, which is this. Here's these controller boards that go inside. And this is something Patrick's really good at getting all done and built for us. So he's going to take this over for me and bring it back, where I'm going to then mount it on this hard anodized black aluminum pole that we bought. And these are the brackets that go on it. And the brackets are for mounting it, one to the wood and two to the back of the enclosure, which make it very stable and secure because the foot pedal runs off of that. And that's how I have my foot controls for the speeds to help me a little bit, keep my hands free for micro drilling. You'll notice, of course, that I haven't talked about it, but she's sitting right here. It's my little buddy, the Bodine motor that I stole from Pat's private inventory stash. This has those little oilers on it, and this had the little oilers, the micro drill press had the little oilers. I said, they're both about 100 years old then. Let's put them together and make this a marriage, a perfect date period product. We love it. It's on this maple board. It's going to look beautiful, and I cannot wait to do some testing, performance, speeds and feeds, and reliability and repeatability. It's going to be really important to me to see how well this motor performs. To show you how this is kind of going to look when she's done, let's just walk over here a little bit. This is our micro polishing unit. This is the one that we've talked about a little bit before. This is our little lathe. It's from TAG. It's a US company. We built this ourselves from the parts we bought from them. Motor we come up with out of our inventory around here, because you know by now that we do have a few motors. Okay. This is again mounted on the same 12-inch by 18-inch maple table top with the same feet under it. We start with a good base. We build off. This one faces me. This one comes at me like this. The drill press is actually going to come right at the camera here. That's how that's going to look at you. That's why the motors face a different direction and what have you. And this is how that enclosure, just while we're here, this is how that little enclosure is going to look with its little power feeds and everything on its little pole and its little brackets. It's really solid. So let's go ahead and show you something else that we really get into around here. This motor is going to sit on this track.
I have a question. Why don't you just mount the motor directly to the base right here? Why do you mount it on this channel?
Well, that's a great question. And you know, it took a little while for us to figure this out. Flexibility is a big deal when you're dealing with belts to motors in literally all machine applications. And let's come back over here for just a second. It's a little bit different scenario, but very similar in the size here and the purpose, part of the purpose. You'll notice those two tracks sitting down here are that one big track over there that's been cut into the correct size length to allow for adjustments forward slightly by maybe an inch and backwards slightly by about an inch. But actually we centered it on purpose. Okay, what that allows me to do is this doesn't, in this case, it's designed to just tension this belt correctly. We want this belt tensioned correctly. That allows that. Remember now, this is a lathe and this is the headstock, so of course this is adjustable. I mean, this gets us our perpendicular, it's a perpendicular here, and that's critical because we don't not ever want a motor belt to rub on its pulleys. But oh, I'm having one of those classroom moments. You know, do you have an extra minute for me? Can we just walk over to the whiteboard? I'd like to give a little lesson on pulley belts and perpendicularness and all these things that cause performance or noise issues with small motors and engines that we're very familiar with from our micro workshop, because you don't want to hear that click, 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 click all day, okay? So let's go over and explain one of the processes we go through to pick the right pulleys with the right belt, shall we? We have a little wheel here. So we take our little wheel and go for a walk, I guess. Let's go over to the whiteboard and I'll play teacher for a minute. Okay, so you see here you have your wheel, you have your V groove. You notice the V groove wheel here. This one's made of Patrick, what is this called?
Oh, what's that? I'm sorry.
What's this material?
Oh, that's phenolic.
Phenolic, okay.
Or also known as micarta.
Micarta, yeah. We're always teaching me around here. But anyway, that belt got a ride in here. Let me show you on the nice little whiteboard here what I'm talking about. I'll put that in my pocket and show you here a little bit. So, you know, you see you have your pulley here, and you know, everybody always says, oh yeah, you know, probably let's put our motor, we're gonna put our belt right there at the bottom of that V because that just looks like that's how it should hold and that's the best. Sometimes you'll say, I see them like this. It's because it's gonna ride on the top and it's gonna put great pressure and that thing's not gonna slip or slide and it's gonna give me the best performance. You know, all of that's just horrific, and we see it a lot. The actual correct method for a V-groove motor belt, pulley belt for a motor, is right here. It's this heart right here in the heart in the center. We want that belt to ride on those two angles and apply the most pressure. So let me come over here with you. I'm going to take you to a little table here. Bring my little wheel back with me, my little phenolic that Patrick has re-educated me with here. Okay, we have three types of belt material here. These are belts that you fuse when you get the correct length that you want. Okay, here's your belt. You'll notice, okay, here's a belt we can just tell you is too tall. That's gonna sit out on the outside, it's gonna sit top. Yep, it'll spin, it'll work, it'll slip, it'll moan. It won't get the traction that's required. This material is pretty firm, but it needs something to hold on to, and that's those sweet spots of the V groove. This is a belt here that it'll fit inside, goes all the way down to that bottom like we're talking about, but it's too small. Again, the pulley will spin, but under any kind of pressure, it's going to squeak because it's going to start slipping because it's not really holding it. It's just using pressure from being strapped around two round wheels. So in this case, the exact wheel we're actually looking for, and that's your sweet spot right there, and I hope I'm getting it. You see it there? See how it's riding? It rides on those two V's, stays out of the bottom of the V groove, and it's not riding up on the top of the rails. It's just a beautiful spot. It'll give you the best performance. It's optimized, and it should be a lot quieter that way. So thank you.
Hey buddy, where are we at on the drill press?
Well, Christmas just might come early. We are clearly not having any issues, and we thought we were going to. This is that micro drill press. Last time I shared with you, we had it, all the parts that came in. They were just like tubes and stuff laying around here, pieces uncut, no screws, nothing. Okay, we did a final layout on it. We've determined where the mounting pole is going to go, where the brackets are going to be mounted under the motor, the inlineness here so we get the perpendicular of the drive belt perfectly and everything. She's coming together really well. I'm going to go ahead and start drilling the holes in here and getting this perfectly lined up. And then you'll notice what's missing. This goes on this stick right here. This is that hard black anodized aluminum pole that mounts here on one of these. And what you'll notice is that our enclosure's missing. The enclosure's missing, and so is the controller that goes inside of that with the variable speed and the foot pedal. Well, the reason is we're going to go in right now, and Pat's going to give us an update on where we're at on the electronic side of this little setup here. And the next time you see us, after we share with Pat right now, and you come back and see this will be running. We'll be in the reliability and repeatability testing modes to make sure she's going to drill perfect holes every time for us. Hey, hi, okay, we're going to go see Patrick like I promised, and while I'm here, I generally only come in here, and you'll see these boxes here on the left. That stuff, all those shelves and cabinets, that's all really rare, new old stock watch parts and components that we use all the time when we do watch repair. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you around here a little bit while I'm in here. Let me just come up and walk you through a little bit, and he's kind of got a little bit of stuff everywhere. This is the electronics area, by the way. And so we just kind of keep it a little fun, and we got a really neat clock we kind of like. I have to share it just the way it is. Huh? What's on top of that? Okay, so this is our electronics area. Just kind of pan you around a little bit and just show you how we do what we do, and then we're going to talk to Pat in a second here, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, Patrick, hi. I know you've got the controller and the enclosure in here for the my little micro drill press. I just wanted to come in and give a little update on what you're discovering and how you're coming along.
Oh, sure. Well, I just finished marking all the dimensions, so I'm going to give this back to you so you can drill all the holes and start assembling it. But let me show you. So yeah, I've done all the markings for you. This is a panel that goes into the enclosure. Yeah, let me set this up and I'll show you how it's going to all fit together. Okay, so that goes in there. Okay, this is the KB Electronics motor controller. And this is an SCR controller, which supports a universal AC/DC motor. So that's good. So we're going to have full speed control. Okay, so that's going to go just like in about like there. Okay. And then this is a cover. And then how this is going to look is we're going to have the speed control knob right here in the front like this. And then we're going to have a power button. And this is illuminated, so this is going to light up when it powers up. So I think that'll look really clean. Okay, and let me open this up. Also, on the bottom of the enclosure, we're going to have this really large cable grip. Okay, and the reason why it's pretty large, and the reason why it's so large is because there's actually 3 cables that are going to go into the enclosure. Let me sort this out. Okay, so yeah, we got the power outlet cable to provide power. We got the cable that connects to the motor, and then we also got the foot pedal. And we love foot pedals because this gives us more control. You know, at a step of at the step of the switch on the floor, we can start and stop at any time, because usually, especially if you're running into any problems, we want to be able to stop that drill bit really quick. So as you can see, we've got to feed this enclosure with 3 cables. So and we're gonna use this large cable grip And I think that's about it. Yeah, and then as Lance will show you later, this is the enclosure that goes up on that post. And I think that's about it. You have any questions?
Yeah, I just so when you marked that up for me, I see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out, I guess, and what am I going? I got to do some work on that for you, don't I?
Yeah. See, I've marked it for you. You got to drill the holes for the potentiometer, for the speed control. Obviously, the hole for the power button, and then the panel. We've got 4 holes because we're going to mount the controller board just like this. Okay, so we got 4 holes here. So we got 2 holes here, 4 holes on the panel, and then we got the really large one. We're actually going to do a 1 1/8 hole, really large for this large cable grip. A lot of times, if it's convenient, sometimes we'll use connectors. Sometimes we'll use multiple cable grips. You'll notice some enclosures use a lot smaller ones. But in this case, we really don't have much room. And we've done this before, and it works really well for this application. And that's really about it. I think the only thing I didn't mark up for you is I think you've got to mark up for the brackets.
Oh, yeah.
And these are the brackets that are used so that this can be mounted on the pole.
Oh, that black anodized aluminum pole that I have out there.
Exactly.
Okay.
But everything else is marked and is ready. I'm ready to give it back to you.
Well, I better get out and get to work and get it back to you so you can finish all the electrical connections and soldering.
Oh, yeah, that's right. While you do that, I'm going to go ahead and solder all this up with wires. So once you're done, we will assemble this really quick.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. We'll be back to see you.
Sure. Thanks.
Hey, welcome back. Okay. We showed you how the layout, how we were going to build the controller box, and how we were going to lay out the micro drill press, the German-made micro drill press. Well, okay, you can see now, I've done my mounting here. Even got the motor mounted. Pat built the controller box. We've mounted the controller box. It's wired. Everything's fantastic. But you're going to notice something's going on this table. There are 2 Bodine motors. You'll notice this is the Bodine motor I was bragging about with the little oil fillers. This is called a AC/DC, better known as a universal motor. The problem we have with this motor is it has to be under load, constant load. Well, we can't put it under a load with this micro drill press. I'm going to need something like pumping slurry or something. It can be geared. We can do a series of gears and keep it under a constant load, an artificial load, if you know what I'm talking about. We couldn't do that. So what we did was we found another vintage. It's unbelievable what you can find in Pat's little cubby corners around here when it comes to inventory. This is another really old Bodine motor. This one doesn't have the oilers and the bronze bearings. This one's got oiled, so I don't have the daily oilers on it like I do right here. Pat's going to show. These are the daily oilers for the micro drill press. No, these aren't the caps. These are actually some silicone plugs from before I do any bead blasting, so I don't hurt any holes. We're going to machine some. I believe we're going to go with brass, huh, Pat?
Yeah, I think so.
That good? Put some brass there, so we're going to make a nice little brass little tops we take off. These are the daily oilers, just a couple drops a day. Okay. You're going to notice something really neat. Before I get on with why the motor didn't work. Let me get into that. Okay, here's my problem. The first Bodine motor, which is really old, has the bronze bearings. That's not the part. That's the problem. The problem is the universal AC/DC. So to keep the load, we had to go back and just get one of these. They call a shunt wound. This is a shunt wound 1/15 horsepower. So it's back. The other one was a 1/8 horsepower. Okay, what's going to happen is we can't fire this up right now because we got to get one of these horsepower fuses. This one's for the 8 horsepower Bodine, and unfortunately, the other Bodine that we have is a 1/15 horsepower. So we got to order that, but that's okay because we've come into something we realize. Patrick wants to show you how to fuse a belt. There's a big problem. Doing belt fusing is quite complicated. Generally, they break and fail. he's going to show you some tactics and techniques, and that's going to take a little more time than we can fit into this current video. So he's going to do that for you. He's going to show you the techniques so you can always have a successfully fused belt. And there was one more little thing we finished that I don't think we've showed installed, and I kind of like it. And here it comes. Come on over here, Pat, if you will. This is that little part we were going to machine. Over here is the part that it used to be. Here was aluminum, and this one's a 303 stainless steel. Let me just move this real quick and show you the successful piece of metal Pat gave to me to start with, which is fine. And that's how it actually got cut out of, but I'm just teasing him. And okay, now a little more about our Bodine motor. I just want to share a little bit of instruction with you for the new Bodine motor, the new 1/15 horsepower, and to show you how old this motor is, even though it has bearings and doesn't need daily oilers done on it like the last one, and it's not going to run out of control with the horsepower, or the RPMs rather, because that was a 5,000 RPM that without a load will take off on you, go to 10,000 RPM, what have you. This is an interesting little story from the Bodine Electric Company. I kind of like it. Congratulations and thanks on your selection of a Bodine motor gear motor. With your new drive unit, you will find yourself enjoying the same high performance and relatively trouble-free operation that have been characteristic of the Bodine product since 1905. We call it an ADE, after delivery economies. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. They really used to word their sales brochures, and this is the actual instructions that did come with the motor that warns you about never selling anyone this motor without a ground wire. So I know that this video's a little long, but my dad's going to see this video this week, so I want to get this in there. This video, yeah, he's going to complain to me, but that's okay. He's a third generation machinist, and I'm a fourth generation machinist, so he's going to tell me who cares how pretty and colorfully painted it is. Just get some parts made on the damn thing and get it shipped. That's how he talks. Okay. Thanks and I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll try to get this squeezed in. I don't think it's going to be next week to do the belt thing and show you this little performance machine running, and the reason is we got a really big video about a bearing issue that came up on a Barker mill, and we're going to give it our best shot, but the filming's taking quite some time. It's probably not going to leave us any time to add any of this little outtake, so hang in there for an extra week or so. I'll get this video to you. I hope you enjoy it and hope it's informative. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed this week's video, and please don't hesitate to subscribe. And did you know, we really do value getting those comments. We love to answer any question you may have for us. Thank you.